Hello, Trevor Prentice here from the IP Link at theiplink.com. If you're developing a new and innovative product, when should you start considering patent protection? It may be sooner than you think, so keep watching. As always, comment below or get in touch if you have any questions or insight. So if you're developing a product and you're pretty sure it's new in the industry and it's somewhat innovative, so something that hasn't really been done before and takes some creative effort for you to come up with, then your product might be something that you want to consider filing a patent on at some point. Now, the question that I want to address in this video is, when should you be thinking about that, and how will being more aware of the other patents that are out there similar to your product help you in the development of your product? So if you're still in the early stages of development, I would say now is the perfect time to look into the patent literature and see what else might be out there similar to your product. Even if you haven't quite started the actual development of your product yet, you might already want to start getting a look at what else is out there from a competitive perspective, and doing a patent search can really help this. So if you're developing a product and you think it's relatively new and innovative, then you'll definitely want to consider patent protection at some point. Now, the question is, when should you start doing that? Well, I would say there's two important reasons at least why you want to take a look at existing patents that resemble your product much earlier than you might be thinking. In fact, even right now. So the first reason you might want to take a look at patents much earlier in the development of your product than you might otherwise have been thinking is that you want to know where the gaps are in the market. So doing a patent search and looking into existing patents can really help you understand where your competition is and to expand that competitive review. Now, hopefully you've already done a little bit of a competitive review about your product before you jumped in with development, so that you're somewhat aware of existing competition and other product offerings that resemble yours, and you kind of know where you fit. So how does yours differ? How is yours better? All these types of questions. But one thing that I find is that if you start to dive into searching patents, you can get more insight beyond what your competitors might have on their website, or what you might have been able to surmise from other sort of more publicly, commonly searched areas. Now, patents are certainly public. That's why you can do patent searches, but there tends to be a lot more information in those patents than you would be able to find elsewhere about your competition, especially from a technical perspective. I've worked with a few clients where I helped them do an efficient and effective patent search, and once we started digging in, we found some competition that my clients, prior to doing that search, were not previously aware of. And actually, in one case, one of my clients found a competitor that was a relatively well-known big company, new in their space, but actually wasn't even in my competitor's space. So it was a little bit surprising, and it really helped my client better strategize about how to move forward with their product. Because now there was this bigger player who previously he had thought, okay, it's sort of an adjacent space, this isn't exactly my industry. But now he was aware that some of the products they were considering releasing were actually very closely related to his product, and providing even some of the same functionality. In another case, I had a client that had done a competitive review. They were pretty aware of their competition and their market, but there was just this one company that, again, was a relatively new company, and so it wasn't on their radar. And in doing the patent search, we uncovered a patent that was actually very similar to what their product looked like. And so this allowed them to, again, adjust their strategy. So the patent that they ended up moving towards had additional components in there, and they were focusing on some different aspects of their product that weren't in the patent that they had found. Whereas if they hadn't found that previous patent, their patent application wouldn't have been nearly as likely to be accepted by the patent office. And in addition to this, they were able to then consider their business more generally in terms of how they develop their product and how they even develop their business. So now they're thinking about potentially contacting this other company and partnering. So the second reason to really start doing a patent search earlier on in the development of your product is that oftentimes what you'll see is you'll find some patents related to your product, and Some of them might be doing things, that you were aware of, that you knew about, and some of those things you were sort of building upon in your product. But you might also discover a few techniques for solving the problem that your product solves that you hadn't thought of before. So techniques that you weren't actually considering in terms of a solution to that problem. So once you are aware of those patents, you can now consider new ways of even improving upon those. So it's sort of like doing developing a product based on existing products and then improving on top of those. So it makes your product even that much better, just being intimately aware of all the different technical aspects that your competition is using, or even, it might not really be your competition anymore. There's a lot of patents out there that have been filed and then abandoned, and those businesses aren't really operating anymore. So being aware of all that existing prior art and the techniques that other people have used in the past helps you build on top of that. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful that you're not using anything or building on top of anything that is still an active, issued, accepted patent, because then you can start to get into infringement issues and your competition might even try to sue you. But again, if you're building on top of that, if you're developing something new above what already exists, then it's only going to help you. So if you've done a little bit of patent searching, but you're not really that confident about your approach, you're just not sure whether you've missed anything or not, then now, even early on in the development of your product, is the perfect time to jump into the IP Link's search program, because we can really help you nail down that patent search, give you that professional level of confirmation that you're being thorough and that you're being efficient in your search, and really helping you improve the development of your product and not get to the point where you've now invested 6 months or however long it is, and time and money in developing a product, only to find out that actually there's already something out there that's relatively similar to your product, and now you've got this difficult competitive situation. So thanks for watching. Again, let me know where you're at in the development of your product. If you're at the early stage, or you're relatively far into development of that initial prototype or product, or even let me know if you've already launched and now you're potentially considering version 2 or 3 or beyond. If you found this helpful and you want to make the most out of your investment into patents, then join our newsletter and gain access to our free patent training webinar at viplink.com/free training. In addition to joining our newsletter, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and connect with me on LinkedIn to learn more about how to approach the patent process. Links are in the description below. Thanks for watching.